Welcome back to the program. I'm joined by Michael John Gray. He is the departing chairman of the Democratic Party of Arkansas. Good to have you with us, sir.
Good morning, Robbie. Good to be here.
Let's talk about what is the condition of the Democratic Party of Arkansas as you exit, and tell me a little bit about why you are leaving as the chairman.
Well, it's been tough times for the Democratic Party. Really started in 2014 as we saw the move from Arkansas from a solidly Democratic state to a bright red state, at least at the voting box. Certainly the defeats in 2016 were tough. A lot of donors that were all in on a potential Hillary Clinton presidency were cycling out when President Trump won. The party has some great energy, some great people, and a lot of room to do a lot of great organizing and reorganizing in the state. But the party historically has its success hinged on statewide wins, and we had them for so long that nobody really knew how to draw the playbook when the field wasn't quite so easy. I am encouraged by the conversations I've had, those that will come after me, and I think the future is very bright for the Democratic Party of Arkansas.
Tell me what you think you could have done differently, kind of with the benefit of hindsight. Now, I'm not trying to get you to Monday morning quarterback yourself or even prior to you being in there, but if you knew what was coming and what actually came, could you have predicted doing something differently?
Well, always you should be able to Monday morning quarterback yourself. Introspective and perspective are key. I was the first chairman that was elected in a contested election in some 10 years. And there were divisions within the party. I would have liked to have done more. I should have done more to try to heal those divisions. There was some real bitterness, not from my opponent and I, but for the control of the party. A real focus we've started in the last year, but there are county committees all across this state that have people that got involved with Dale Bumpers or David Pryor, or even Governor Clinton, and they're holding on, but their membership is waning and they're doing their best. We should have made a lot more. I wish I'd made a lot more earlier in my tenure of re-energizing those committees, helping connect them to people like-minded, either in their own counties or adjoining counties, to help revitalize those county committees sooner.
Okay. Redistricting's on the horizon. Personally, I'm predicting that Republicans will be in a pretty good position to make further gains in the state legislature and probably protect their incumbents in Congress. You may have a different opinion on that. With Republicans being in charge of the redistricting process, you know that they will control all the levers and keys on that. What's your best case scenario for Democrats?
Get out there and organize. I think the arrogance that any party that's in control, including my party in the past, of thinking that everybody's with them and that these people are always going to vote this way and they, just have to sign them up. I think that when you don't organize, when you're not meeting the people, when you're not going out there and talking about the issues, you leave a lot of room when you take people for granted. So the biggest opportunities for Democrats is to understand that they're going to do what they're going to do, but that's going to leave a lot of space to go talk to people, to reach out to people that have really been taken for granted.
School boards across the state, we are seeing this week, have a different perspective on the mask mandate than the state legislature had when it met in special session a little over a week ago. The school board seemed to be embracing the mask mandates, generally speaking. What's the disconnect, do you think, between those local officials, locally elected officials, and legislative locally elected officials?
So it's Washington politics. What we said about Washington from the beginning is once somebody gets up there, all they're worried about is getting reelected. It's not about the issues. It's not about taking the hard stances and being honest with your voters. It's about getting reelected and what's the best path to get reelected. I've served on a city council, but I've never served on a school board. Those are parents, those are community members that frankly probably enjoy what they're doing, but it's not going to be the end of the world if somebody beats them. So their decisions are not based on getting reelected. Their decisions on what's best for their community, their school, and their kids. And frankly, that's an attitude we ought to see from the State House all the way to the White House a little more. They could learn a lot from the school boards and how they approach things.
All right, you are moving to a job with the super PAC, Liberty and Justice for Arkansas. Its primary focus self-described is to defeat Sarah Huckabee Sanders as the next governor of Arkansas. That does not seem like a place where I'm expecting you to practice a lot of bipartisanship.
So I think
Tell
that,
me about this.
so its primary focus is to defeat candidates who only want to divide Arkansas and use rhetoric and use Washington style politics and don't care about the problems on the ground, just like what we've seen with the mass debate the last week. Absolutely going after Sarah Huckabee Sanders' candidacy because it's not good for Arkansas is a focus. But LJA does not stop there. It is candidates across this state who listen less at home and worry about more about getting reelected and use those hot button issues not to educate and be honest with their constituents, but to divide them and inflame them.
So what are we going to see? You're going to be raising money, or are there going to be, is this going to be more behind the scenes kind of efforts that LJA is going to take on, or will?
No, I mean, I think ultimately our goal is, of course, you have to raise the money, but then it's content, then it's reaching out in a nonpartisan way to expose the lunacy, frankly, of some of the conversations, some of the legislation, some of the fact that people, it's the best job some of these people had, and they're not qualified for it whatsoever. Exposing that in a way that doesn't have a party label on it.
All right, he's Michael John Gray. He is the chairman of the Democratic Party of Arkansas for a few more weeks. We expect that we will see you when Liberty and Justice for All gets up and running a little bit more. Thank you for your time.
Robbie, thank you, and always enjoy talking to you.
All right. That's all for this week's edition of Talk Business and Politics. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Roby Brock. We will see you next time.